Item number 3.
All right, so we'll get rolling with item number 3. Item number 3, Mr. Chairman, is, I might get to it right now. This is an item, I'm gonna have Cheryl really talk to this, but this is authorization to create a non-for-profit corporation underneath the Buffalo Sewer Authority. We have the opportunity, working with our partner, HomeServe, that's been, throughout Buffalo, providing, water services internal on the private side to receive some dollars. And we couldn't do that as Buffalo Sewer without it being complications or Buffalo Water. So what we wanted to do is really stand up a non-for-profit. This also is going to help us work with the community foundation and others because we want to get into people's homes. Because what we're finding is plumbing issues, whether that be lead or whether that just be internal plumbing issues are some of the reasons that many of our low income customers are paying high bills. And so this is the mechanism that we're looking to try and do to kind of get ahead of that. So this is, had good conversations downstairs. And so this is what we wanted to put in front of you. And Cheryl has done all the work. So I'm going to let her talk on it.
So yeah, just briefly, well, good morning.
Good morning.
As you know, the Buffalo Sewer Authority is a public benefit corporation with jurisdiction, control, possession, and supervision of the existing sewer system to exercise all the rights and privileges necessary for carrying such power into execution. So through the outreach efforts, opportunities for community engagement, and generally Buffalo Sewer Authority's activities in educating and supporting the residents, the Buffalo Sewer Authority recognizes that it can take steps to further enhance the public benefit that we provide. So toward that end and working in tandem with Buffalo Water, we are requesting the authorization to create a non-for-profit corporation for the charitable purpose of aiding persons living in Buffalo, New York, who are in need of assistance with water and sewer needs. So as OJ just described, leaking pipes, repairing lateral sewer lines, that sort of thing. There's no funding that's required from the Buffalo Sewer Authority. So we've reviewed this and we request authorization.
You said water too. So are we the total separate entity or are we doing a joint venture with water?
Go ahead.
And so it'll be a standalone charitable organization. The funds, however, are being provided by the Buffalo Water Board. So we envision that, for instance, the directors that are created for the charitable entity will more than likely be directors that are identified from sewer authorities, board, and or the water.
And so one of the things we talked with Charlie on this as we're looking to establish it is the funds are Margarata. Yeah.
Okay.
So the funds are coming from, of course, organization HomeServe, who has committed these funds to our area just because of us allowing them to kind of come in and sharing our databases for our customers. And so what we're envisioning this being is a joint, but we have the power as Buffalo Sewer Authority to actually establish this because of our rules and regulations. We have more flexibility than does a Buffalo.
So if we can establish it, why don't we own it?
So
That comes next. That's the stuff that we'll talk about next on who sits on that board. This is just giving us the opportunity to move forward.
So all of that can be, determined later. This only, as OJ said, gives us the authority to actually establish the entity.
And you bring up a very good point, sir.
Oh, I'm sure I do. But I'm trusting y'all.
All right.
Item number 4.
I'm on, okay. All right, good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
This is Alex. I'll be doing items 4 and 5 here. Item number 4, Mr. Chairman.
Because I don't have this on. Sorry. Is there else?
can you hear me? I can hear you
Yeah,
guys.
I hear you.
Yep, very good. Item number 4, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, board members. Is the extension of the contract for our energy consulting services. This is for a 1-year extension. We've been working with United Energy for many years. We are currently locked in at kind of price certainty for our natural gas purchase, our utility purchases, natural gas and electricity. We're locked in for the next 2 and 3 years, which is a good thing for price certainty. But who knows with swings in the market, what potential savings there may be. So this is an extension for 1 year with United Energy at a cost not to exceed $30,000. Also included in this is the potential of a 15% savings realized. Ultimately, if there is some blending and extension at a lower rate, there is ultimately a 15% savings realized that will go back to United Energy if that is found to be the case. So this has been reviewed. Yeah,
Do we as a sewer authority, save more than 30,000 on an annual basis on the utilities?
do we save more than 30,000? So over the last couple years, costs have been going up, electricity being one, and natural gas, as our pricing has come in from our RFPs for our purchase of natural gas have gone up over the years. Historically, I believe there was a time when savings were found and paid out. That has not happened since I've been in my position here over the last 4 years. And who knows with the election year, what will happen on all things utilities. So that's it, that's the good thing to have United Energy on board. Go ahead.
I think you might be missing the question. The question is, we're paying out $30,000 for this company annually to manage our electrical and energy stuff. Are
Right.
we recouping more than that 30,000 for them doing that work?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, no, I see the question. Well, first of all, it's the expertise that he brings. Do we save 30,000? Well, it's all market based. So he assists with our RFP, with finding the companies. I would say, to answer that question, yes, because there have been bidders that have been way over $30,000 compared to the lowest bidder. And so by him reaching out, using his contacts, vetting through the bidding, that he has brought in bigger national companies. So I guess to answer that question, yes, we have saved over $30,000. And we could go back based on previous board approvals on our utility bids to show those cost savings.
So are we expected to bid this out next year? We're looking for this 1-year extension.
Yeah, I mean, we can extend, ultimately it's a $30,000 service. I believe we have to go for $35,000 for board approval. The kind of asterisk on that is if there is a cost, 15% realized cost savings that will come back. I think that's where the necessity of
market.
this is. Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Item number 5.
Item number 5, Mr. Chairman, is the extension on the contract for Implant High Steam. This is our second renewal out of 4 renewals. This is for Quackenbush Company. And this is in the amount of $576,700. This will be for our current fiscal year, July 1st to June 30th. This has been reviewed and recommended for approval, as was the previous item.
Item number 6.
Item number 6, Mr. Chairman, is a change order to contract number 1. This is a deduct in the amount of $57,169.47. This is for our Bird Island campus landscape and site improvements projects. So as you've been driving in, you see the signs and all the things that have gone along with that. but we've invested over nearly $600,000 in kind of the signage and landscaping and other things that have gone there, so like racks and the like. And so this and the next item are to close this out.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, Mr. Chairman, is change order number 3. This is for the primary care and rehabilitation program. This is in the amount of $386,875. As we talked to you a couple of meetings ago, we had bid this out into 2 contracts. We will now be rebidding out that second contract and separating that out into multiples, as well as peeling off a piece that is pertinent to contract A. And so we're going to be reimagining that, and they're going to be doing the design work because they've already done it all. So they're just going to be parsing it all out. So we've negotiated this with them in the amount of $386,875 to proceed.
Item number 9.
Item
Morning,
number
Mr.
9.
Chairman, this is Paul Harris, and I'll be presenting items number 9 through 12. For item number 9, we're making a request to rescind item number 6 from the June 26th board meeting. This was an authorization to enter into a contract with Shield Protective Group for security guard services. However, Shield Protective Group was unable to meet the contract requirements and withdrew their bid. So we're requesting the board to rescind item number 6 from the June 26th board meeting.
Item number 10.
Item number 10, Mr. Chairman, is a report on bids received for the security guard services. Given that Shield Protective Group was unable to meet the contract requirements, Don Security was also determined to be a non-responsible bidder, given that they had failed to satisfy the request for unilateral short-term extension prior to the replacement of the contract. So we've made the recommendation to go with Allied Security Services at a cost not to exceed $1,125,309.60 for the fiscal year of July 2024 to June 2025 for a with an option to renew for 4 years.
So, Paul, I'm going to let Dirk talk to this one because this will work. All right. And so if you remember, board, the last item we rescinded because we'd asked you to approve Shield. Shield wasn't able to meet the contract requirement. They couldn't get their bond for the larger project here, even though they were our lowest. Our second lowest, they were our current. We had a contract in place where called for these provisions. And we tried to extend it, and they refused. And so for us, we looked at that and said, sure. But what do we do with this one? And so I'll let her speak to that and how we ended up with the third, who was actually the highest.
So they basically were found responsible because the contract that we had with them allows us unilaterally to extend the agreement for a certain period of time. And they failed to abide by that. And so as a result of that, under our purchasing guidelines, they're deemed to be non-responsible. But we also, just in an effort to improve efficiencies with regard to the authorization that we're seeking, we're also seeking to be allowed to exercise the options to renew without coming back to the board for authorization to do so. So we are amending the authorization that we're requesting so that we are allowed to renew at the year end without coming back to the board for authorization to do so.
And that is because it could put us in disarray like this.
Well, that as well as just sort of looking forward with regard to our other contracts, rather than inundating you guys with coming back year after year, requesting authorization to renew. This just allows the general manager to look at the performance and determine whether or not the entity should be removed.
And this is with Iron Services, right?
This is yes. So this is a big change. So you'll see the new shirts. And during this transition period, we have not gone to ARM yet. We will be there quite short. The expectation is by September.
We
But now
also
we're kind
had,
of-
sorry. We also had some performance issues with Don Securities in addition to their not agreeing to the unilateral extension.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right. Paul, that's right, you're on a roll for a few of them, right? Item number
Pardon?
11.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Item number 11, Mr. Chairman, is extension of the contract for professional services for our Water Equity Stewardship Service Program. This was awarded to Buffalo Center for Health Equity. And we have an option to renew for 4 one-year periods. We're looking to renew this for the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 at a total cost not to exceed $579,289. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval. Sure. Item number 12, Mr. Chairman, is authorization for the purchase of 4 2025 Cushman Hauler Elite golf carts for our yards and grounds and maintenance staff through our Omnia contract. This is for a total cost of not to exceed $52,694. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Item number 13.
Item number 13, Mr. Chairman, is amendment to Board Resolution number 31 from the June 26th board meeting. Stantec was inadvertently put into the resolution as the engineering provider, and in fact, it should have been Wendell, as stated in the whereas statements, and this corrects that and awards the contract correctly to Wendell.
Number 14.
Number 14, Mr. Chairman, is an amendment to the board resolution from the May 1st, 2024 meeting, which was a amendment to the November 1st, 2023 board meeting. The May 1st corrected this item to put in the correct account number, but there was still an error in the total. The total of this contract should be $498,470, and this item corrects that.
Item number 15.
Item number 15, Mr. Chairman, is extension of the contract for private property green infrastructure grants program administration. This is an ongoing contract with Greenprint Partners to develop green infrastructure on private lands. It is a one-year extension of $500,000, making the total $1 million.
And you approve this?
I recommend it.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm supposed to approve.
No, don't say that.
Item 16.
I cannot approve it, Mr. Chairman. That is not in my abilities, but I can recommend it.
I'm giving you that boost. You don't understand.
Mr. Chairman, that is not in your authorization either. That would be the mayor that has to make that decision.
Oh, here I thought I was speaking prophetic. Item 16.
Number 16, Mr. Chairman, is change order number 1 to the GIS environment implementation in GIS and GPS services. This is a $30,000 extension of this contract to bring it through March 27th, 2025. We have reviewed this item and recommend its approval.
All right. Item number 17.
Item number 17, Mr. Chairman, is a utility work agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation. This is regarding the Kensington Expressway and in particular the Best Street Bridge, which is the phase 1 portion of that overall project. This is granting New York State DOT the ability to modify our structures and then agreeing to maintain those structures that are BSAs today into perpetuity. And we have reviewed this and recommended approval.
Item 18.
Item 18, Mr. Chairman, is declaration of lead agency for the Breckenridge CSO control project. This is part of the state environmental quality review process for this project. We have recommended this and recommend that this be that the BSA serve as lead agency for this project.
Item 19.
Item 19 is also a declaration of lead agency. This is for CSO patrol point modification at Colorado Avenue and Scajaquada Street. And we have reviewed this and recommend that, again, BSA be declared the lead agency.
Item number 20.
This is for similar at Genesee Street. And again, it is recommended that BSA declare its intent to serve as lead agency.
Item 21.
Item 21 is similar for Sydney Street at Lark. And again, the recommendation is for BSA to serve as lead agency.
'22.
22 is similar for a combined project that is modifications at East Delavan, Bailey, and Michigan Avenue. And again, the recommendation is that BSA serve as lead agency.
All right. That's it, right? Or do we have a couple of,
So the only item that we have, of course, as part of the consent agenda, we had in our policies and guidelines, as well, the travel. We did need to pull one. Am I right, Rosie? One did we have to pull?
No.
Okay, what was it correct?
It was item 8, the primary treatment.
Okay. So I'll just take it back to item number 8 for that we discussed. And it is.
That this is the increase in funds towards really enhance it for, yes.
Right.
So that there does need to be an amendment from the floor. Included in the original contract was retention, which we generally do not require on engineering contracts. It was inadvertently included, and in the proposal that is referenced for this change order, it was requested that the retention be released. That's not made explicit in this agenda item, and from the floor, I would like to make it explicit that the retention should be released.
okay. And you'll make that on the floor, right?
I will, if, as long as I
got
can
it.
do that. Okay,
I got it.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we will see everyone at the board meeting. Thank you.